Welcome to Talks with the Invisible Gardener. I'm Andy Lopez, your host. This is where we dig into soil health and learn how to grow smarter organically. Ready to clean up your garden and the planet? Let's go. Don't panic, it's organic. Everybody, welcome back. Boy, have I got a show for you today. What do you think of my personality, folks, in the background? So let's get started, okay? So, my whole thing is really healthy soil, healthy garden. And believe it or not, that is how you're going to control your gophers. Notice I don't say how to kill gophers, right? So gophers are not I like this. Gophers are not the root problem because there's always roots. I talk about roots a lot. They're the symptom. Law of cause and effect is what you need to know, right? Gophers are just the effect, not the cause, right? And that's what I want to express to you the cause. And I have been throughout all the years talking about the cause of diseases, the cause of pests, right? So let's get into a little bit more. So soil biology is the key. And again, thanks to Ken for introducing me to soil biology, because that was right in my face. And for many years, I would talk about microbes. The microbes is just one aspect of soil biology. Soil biology is really cool statement because it encompasses everything alive in the soil. It's amazing. I read somewhere that there's more biology in the ground than there are stars in the sky, and I can believe that. As a matter of fact, I know microbiologists say we don't have names for half of the stuff you see in the soil. And one of the things that I can't overemphasize is city water. Okay, I was talking to a customer the other day. She says, I haven't gotten around to doing my water filter. So it turns out that she has a big giant property, and of course, the water filter is going to cost. And then at the same breath, she just says, "I want to hurry up and make the plants get better." And I go, "Well, get the water filter, because the toxins are in the water. I mean, you understand. You buy a water filter for your house, your water filter for you to drink, for shower in. You know there's toxins in there, and the toxins are." Besides chlorine, there's tons of other stuff. You have strange names that you don't know, and they kill the soil biology, constantly kill the soil biology. And part of the key to controlling gophers, diseases, and other pests is a living, balanced soil biology. I tell people come up to me and say, Andy, I have an ant problem. I love telling them, you don't have an ant problem, you have a soil problem. Same thing with gophers. You don't have a gopher problem, you have a soil problem. Gophers and ants are not bad people. They're good guys. They have a job to do. But the soil biology keeps them in check. And that's what you have to understand. And so I teach people there's a short-term approach and a long-term approach. I'm going to cover both today for you, okay? So what are the short-term approaches? There are lots of things you could do that immediately helps. One of the things is their deterrents and their physical barriers. Those are short-term approach. If you have physical barrier stops them from coming through, and deterrents are lots of different things you can do that will tend to keep them away. But in the long run, you have to build the biology of the soil back again. If you have any kind of problem like ants, gophers, or anything like that, diseases and pests, you have a soil biology problem, okay? So you need to fix the problem, and that's with the soil. So one of the short-term things that I'll give you an example. In my backyard, I started a garden. There used to be a little road back there, so it basically when they do a road, they have this construction sand that they put in. Not a single worm back there. Right now, this morning, I think I counted 20 worms. But as soon as I started planting something, gophers went right through it and they ate. You see the tomato plant shaking and disappear. And one of the things they do not like, they will not go after garlic. They will not go after rosemary or sage or any kind of mint. They left those alone. And so I've learned you can make, a lot of these things are really cool that you can make a variety of different things with. So the herbs, you can make, how you make a tea? Well, you can make an herb tea and you can spray the plants with them. Ideally, what you want to do is like when you use herbs, you can put them into the gopher tunnel so they'll smell it. If you can smell it, they will smell it. They hate oregano, they hate rosemary, they hate pennyroyal, citronella, eucalyptus, all these things, they hate it. They hate garlic. Here's a tip of what I just did today, for example, because I do it once a week now because I live next to a forest, and of course the gophers are going, hey, there's food over there. And so I buy crushed garlic, organic crushed garlic, and I tie it into a little tiny ball. I also buy these little screens that you use for uh, making teas with, or a lot of times they're like you use for when you're making sprouts. You cover the cover. You put your sprout and add water. You have to have something covered that has air through it, and you can they can water it through your sprouts. So it makes a little ball, tie it into a knot, and throw it into the gopher tunnels. And man, it stinks up their little gopher. They stinks up their gopher tunnels. They hate it. And one of the ways you know it's working, you go out the next day and they throw the ball out. I go, yep, they're in there. And personally, I don't, I don't like killing anything. I don't like killing gophers. I don't like killing ants. One of my books is called Dances with Ants. I'm thinking of making another book called Dances with Gophers because you want to let them know that this is my garden. Because the gophers say, hey, we were here before you. This is our garden. We're going to eat wherever we want. And I try to tell them, I say, look, we can share, eat some, leave some. But no, they take all of it. Because they're hungry. This is theirs. They say that. So you have to learn how to use these things. So I have lots of right now in my garden. It's all mainly herbs, right? It's all kinds of herbs. It's wonderful, and I like the herbs. But sooner or later, I'm going to start planting vegetables that I want. And right now, there's still lots of gophers. I actually did a barrier, which is one of the things you can do. But I think I missed that area somewhere because gophers will hit the barriers and they'll keep looking. And also, I found out recently interesting information. I used to think gophers will go down maybe 2 feet. Oh no, these guys go down 3 or 4 feet now. And on top of that, they go over the barrier. So I dug a tunnel over it's like a moat, around it. And it was 2 feet down. I figured that's enough. And I put these double layers of the gopher. It's basically wire that goes like that. And you don't want it too big because I did it too big one day, and it turns out they go in there. The little small little guys go in there, and then they can't go out because they get big. But they literally go over the gopher barrier and under the gopher barrier. So the gopher barrier is only one thing you could do. You have to learn how to use a variety of other things. Okay. And so it's important. The herbs are great. The garlic is great. These things we're not touching. And also, I've learned to plant it's like I have some tomato plant that's actually surviving now because it's right amongst the sage and right amongst the pennyroyal and lemongrass and rosemary. So they tend to not smell it too much. And lately, what I've been doing, making a tea and spraying the the vegetables, the tomato. It's also I like garlic because I sprayed my tomato plant one year with rosemary and with citronella. It's just not a good thing to spray a tomato plant because the tomato itself will smell like it. May be good for other people, but spraying it with the garlic is really wonderful. Plus, you can also grow some garlic at the base of your plants, and they absorb the garlic and the plants. It also works for squirrels. So we're going to do a show on how to control squirrels. And the physical barriers, if you do a raised bed, which is ideal, this is like a miniature raised bed, but you see it has the screen underneath it, and in essence, it would be much bigger and much deeper. So when you do that way, they can't get at your plants from underneath. That's one way to have a vegetables growing that the gophers don't get at. You'll have other problems. The squirrels will have no problem going over it. But again, the same thing that works for gophers in terms of just utilizing the sense of smell works with the squirrels and other creatures as well. So this is a perfect way to have a garden that the gophers are not going to get at. One of the things I've learned is also treat the wood. So I can treat the wood with citrus. You can treat the wood with any other natural things that you can use. Even you can take pennyroyal or eucalyptus or lavender and just paint it with, make a tea out of it and paint it with that. So the squirrels and the other creatures, sometimes, like I said, the gophers are going over now. So they can go over this and into your garden. They will smell that first. So But it all comes back to the soil, okay? So we have, here's how it works. The soil biology is so active in the soil, the microbes, they have to dig through that, and they don't like that. So the more, I like saying, the more roots in the ground, so the more things you have growing, they have to work their way through that. But also the more beneficial biology you have in your soil, the less gophers and ants and other things are going to be tunneling under there, okay? And that's the key to it. That's the first, and that takes a long time. It's one of the long-term things. The long term is healing. Healing doesn't take overnight to heal. You know that, right? It takes a while to heal. So it takes a while to heal your soil. So the first thing you have to understand is you have a soil problem, and that's going to take time for you to heal, for the soil to heal, right? Actually, you heal too, because you have to understand what you're doing affects you. And so the healthier you are, the healthier the soil is going to be. And in the long run, you're going to have, there's nothing wrong with the gophers. You just tell them, stay over there, right? Stay in your forest, because they will eventually stop coming around because they can't eat they can't get anywhere near it. Look at it this way. If you can smell rosemary, or if you can smell lavender, or you can smell it, they will smell it 1,000 times more, okay? So there are ways you can boost your soil biology. Okay, ways you learn. I have a bunch of shows that cover that in more details. Compost is one of them. Making compost tea is a great example of what to do with the compost. And there are lots of other things that you can make into a tea, and we're going to cover that more in detail down the road. Lots of things you can put together. One of the things I'm doing, I should give you a quick. So I'm using organic milk. Milk has a particular biology in it, and adding a dash of turmeric and a dash of Dr. Bronner's soap. Dr. Bronner's soap is one of my favorite soaps because it's made from herbs. So they have lavender, eucalyptus, almond, citronella. All of these have an amazing smell, rose. If you can smell it, they can smell it too. So once you mix it together, so you have this combination of biology and the turmeric. They will not eat it, but lately I've been pouring that into the tunnels too, so they can smell that. And so I like it. It's basically saying encourage microbial life. They're your garden's immunity system, okay? And so you have to stop using chemicals and other things that damage the soil biology. That's why it's so important to do the water filter, but you can't just have an organic garden and use chemical pesticides, chemical herbicides. A chemical pest control company, that stuff is toxic. So if you don't have any earthworms, something's telling you that the universe is telling you that it's too toxic for the earthworms. As I said, in the beginning, I had no earthworms. This morning, I was out there, and I have potted plants. I lift up, there were earthworms. They were going, hi, hi. So the worms are starting to survive. In my case, I have a worm farm, so when I make a liquid, they have earthworm eggs in it. See, and earthworm castings is really good because if it's done correctly, it'll have earthworm eggs. When you buy earthworm castings, make sure that it's not heat treated, because if it's heat treated, it kills the eggs. And this is a really easy thing to do because, once you if you buy, ideally what you want to do is find a company in your location that sells earthworm castings. They have a worm farm, and you say, are you guys heating your earthworm castings? And they don't. That's what you want. Lots of stuff you buy in the store, they heat it. For some reason, they heat it, and they kill off the earthworm, and they kill off the biology that comes with the earthworm castings. So that's important to look into. And the other thing is that I like saying the less the stress, the less the pests. And so trace minerals is it. And the way you get a variety of trace minerals is you have diversity in your soil biology. Because the soil biology, the more different types of creatures in the biology, the more different types of trace minerals will become available. And what's important is remember that pests key into stress, just like in your body, diseases key into stress. So the higher the stress, the greater the pests and diseases. Gophers, just like ants, are Mother Nature's janitors. They're meant to recycle things. A gopher will go after a sick plant any day. They do not eat plants that are healthy. That's one of the things you have to learn. So if you're growing stuff you buy in the store, plants are grown in a nursery are not healthy because they're being chemically fed. And on top of that, I have a customer who likes going to the store, to the nursery, and buying flowers and plants, and she plants them. And I've been going there for years, and I kept saying, this is no good. But unfortunately, there's no nursery selling organics. So what happens is she's bringing these chemicals, chemical pesticide that they spray the plants with, chemical fertilizers. They see the little blue pellets in there, and it has to totally destroy the biology of the soil. The plants are totally weak. They get diseases, and gophers are running rampant. So are the ants. And so that's what you have to learn to, like when you eat. You don't eat rice, right? You like eating rice with some lettuce and potatoes, and you have a wide variety of food. That's what you want to do with your soil. So you want to learn how to have different biological functions going on there. And it's just a matter of learning how to. There's a Korean farming method, which is really cool, how you can transfer biology. So if you have a friend who has a really cool garden, tell them, I like to get some of your biology, and there's a way, and I can teach you that, how you get biology from that place and start introducing it to your place. But the biology would die if your soil is toxic. So you have to learn how to clean up the soil, how to make it healthy for the worms. The whole idea of gardening is to have a big worm farm on your ground. That's what you want, in your soil. So remember, treat the cause, not the symptom, okay? That's the law of cause and effect. You'll be better off. So once you solve the cause, the effects disappear. So once you get the biology going, you're not going to have gopher problems. You're not going to have ant problems. You're not going to have diseases and pests. Same thing with your body. Once your stomach is working right, you will be healthy. So you want to have a strong underground ecosystem, and you'll be surprised at what your garden will do. So I think that covers it for today. Please like and share and follow. Go to invisiblegardener.com, sign up for the newsletter. There's lots of things going on. I'm giving away my natural pest control book, which is the Alternatives for Chemicals for Home and Garden. It's an ebook, giving that away. Once you sign up for the newsletter, there'll be a click here to get your free ebook. I'm also have a book called Don't Panic, It's Organic. This is the latest version of that I have. Is an ebook version. You're going to get that free. So we'll see you next week, okay? Happy growing organically, of course. Bye now. It's been great. I'm Andy Lopez. Thanks for hanging out with me on Talks with the Invisible Gardener. If you like what you heard, hit follow, drop a like, and leave a comment. I actually read them. Want more good dirt? Visit invisiblegardener.com. And remember, don't panic, it's organic.